We're joined by Syracuse after today's win over North Carolina. Coach will begin with an opening statement.
Great, thank you. Heck of a game, a lot of fun to be here back at Hofstra again for second straight year, and I got to thank everybody on the coaching staff. Incredible job preparing this week and getting us ready to play. That was it's unbelievable North Carolina team. We know we lost to them twice. They're very good. I thought we made some great adjustments, but more than anything, that the players stepped up and made plays when we needed them. And we talk about that a lot, putting yourself in a position to step up and reach for it and take the chance to make a play and believe in yourself and your teammates. And I think they did that today and allowed us to be together for another week. We're looking forward to it.
Questions?
For Joey, we spoke last week, and you said you're looking forward to hearing the PA announcer back at Hofstra.
Yeah.
Said your name a lot today, 3-3. Walk me through, because you had an incredible performance last year too. What is it like playing on this field for you, where you were with your dad for years with the Lizards, seeing guys like Paul Rabel and Rob Penelope, Walters play, and now you're the player on that field that all those kids in the stands are looking up to, watching you wearing 22 and orange. What is that like?
It's an unbelievable way to put that, to be honest. But it's awesome. Like you said, I pretty much grew up on this field. I was here all the time. I would skip school just to go to practice, just to be around those guys and stuff like that was great. Just to be out there and the PA guy, like that voice will be forever just stuck in my head. So I think I'm 3-0 here in college. I actually am 0-1 here in high school. It's pretty weird, but we were in like the same locker room and stuff like that when I lost in high school. But it's this place is great. So
for Joey and Billy, how would you compare sitting here today versus a year ago when you had finally gotten Syracuse back into the Final Four after a number of years? Now it's back together.
I think we were fat and happy last year, to be honest, and I feel like there's just a lot of the bone that's still there. Obviously a night and day different kind of game. Last year was like over 35 goals or something like that, and I feel like this game was it was a little bit more of a gut check, being down 6-2. In years past, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like we kind of just gave it away at that point, but it was just a complete gut check, and we have a great leadership group, and we've had some unbelievable people that have talked to us, and have given us some great insight and stuff like that. So it's just a different year, different everything. So.
Really?
Yeah, I think Joe kind of hit the nail on the head, but I think last year we were so fired up to get to championship weekend. I think when we got there, we kind of laid an egg. I think this year, obviously, we have the experience that we had from last year, both in this game and the games coming up. So I'm just mostly fired up to go to practice on Monday with the boys. So.
Joey, what I'm sorry.
Yeah, good.
Go for it.
Go.
Joe, just this is your last game here as a college player. What were you thinking about when you woke up this morning?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I was way more nervous for last week's game than this week's game. This week's game just felt different. Felt like more of a home game. I had all my family here. A lot of my hometown friends, you probably saw them all wearing Joe's Spallina 22 jerseys, going absolutely bonkers. I don't condone anything that they did or said, because I know they're absolutely nuts. But no, it's just all about the team, and I'm just so proud of our group, and just proud of everybody that's involved. I think we just put a lot of time effort in, and to play a game that we did today, was great. I still don't think we've played a full 60 minutes yet, so I'm just excited to get back at it.
Joey, slow offensive start for both teams, almost went the entire first quarter without a goal. What do you attribute that to?
I think their goalie made a couple good saves to start the game. A couple turnovers by us. I think the energy was just incredibly high. It was absolutely packed. I'm not sure what the amount of people were, but it was just. I think it was a lot of just energy and just guys just flying up and down and it's probably a couple shots that we would probably want back, but just the way that the game is. So.
Hey Billy, can you take me through that play in the fourth quarter where you were right along the end line and fed Bowen, who I think fed Joey for the goal?
Yeah, I think I got the ground ball and I just running up the field and thought I probably could have made it out there easier, but I guess I closed in on pretty fast and felt myself kind of leaning out of bounds. I saw it might have been out of bounds. I have no idea, but I kind of Dante was calling for it and I just said either go out of bounds or try and make a play for him. So. Turned out to go obviously pretty well, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, Joe, we saw postgame, you said you're so effing blessed to wear number 22. I don't want to swear here. But what does it mean to represent that jersey again, 6 points today, and have 2 more potential games wearing that number for Syracuse?
Yeah, I'm just trying to follow in, Coach Gates' footsteps and, just wear the number with honor, with pride, just being a good teammate, being a good person. I think that's, to be honest here, I think that's more important than being a good player. It's kind of just how you treat people and just kind of the person that you are. But no, I mean it's been an absolute honor, to wear 22 and be able to put it back into a better spotlight than it's been. It's just the way that it is. I can't control what other people might say, but I'm just blessed, to be on a great team with great coaches and just wear the best number in college sports.
Gary, maybe gut check's the word as Joey brought it up, but how did you guide a team that had 19 turnovers, a season high, just kind of flirting with disaster there? How'd you kind of keep them
well, I think maybe 19 turnovers, but we competed and we dominated the ground ball battle, and that was huge, and that's effort. Turnovers are mistakes. Ground balls come into effort and intensity, and we asked our guys to bring that from the opening whistle, and they did, and. We knew we weren't going to play perfect lacrosse, but we knew if we outworked them and out-hustled them that we'd have a shot to be on top at the end, and I think the guys did, and they had the opportunity to make some plays, and they did that as well. So it was, effort and belief and guys coming together and playing complementary lacrosse, getting stops when we need them from the D's, getting goals from the O when we need them, making the clears when we did need them, and making the plays. So, 2 teams out there, we came out on top, and proud that we outworked them and outplayed them.
For Billy, the past 2 games against these guys, Dom and Patramella had a lot of success. Was it more that this was a third game and there was a lot of film you saw, or was it just adjustments to keeping him having a quiet day today?
I think a little bit of both. The first game, he obviously had a great game. I think the second game last week, or 2 weeks ago, I think Jordan Beck did a great job guarding him. And then today, with how it kind of rolled out, Riley Figueroa was on him, and I think it's no secret he's the best defenseman in college lacrosse in terms of coverability and everything like that. So we trust him with everything. I think, when you go against Fig, it's obviously a pretty tough task. So we trust him with everything. Fig did his job. Dom's a great player. So I think, that's kind of that. Some adjustments maybe from seeing him 3 times, but overall, pretty straight up.
Billy, what was kind of the challenge with Duffy's situation? Didn't play last week, not knowing whether he was going to play. I'm sure there was multiple scenarios that you guys worked on, but how are you guys going to deal with that?
like anything, you were just anticipating him to play all week. So nothing really too, when like he did come out on the field, that we weren't surprised or anything like that. Don't know obviously his situation and everything like that, but and then I think we brought, Louis D'Agostino in, and he did a great job on him, which kept Riley on Dom. And Louis is a freshman and kind of stood tall against him, stepped up big time today for us, and super proud of him.
Long Island guy.
Here.
Yes, I'll start. Yeah, Gary, how about John Mullen's performance today? Winning over 50%, 2 goals. I saw you put a stick in like the ice cooler at times between draws. What does that say?
That's old school.
That's old school. What does that say?
Old school right
and
there.
him clicking at the right time in this performance today.
Yeah, he's been working really hard on being dialed in and focused and being in a good spot to make a run in the playoffs. And I think he's really stepped up to, first team All-American 2 years in a row, definitely the best face-off guy in the country for the last few years. And, he beat him today. 1 versus 1 just shows you what John Mullen's capable when he's dialed in and focused. Couple goals, last game, their face-off guy had 2 goals against us. He got 1 today, but, I think John Mullen won the battle, and all we asked for was to try and make it 50%, and then we were just over 50%, but, that's rarely happened to that North Carolina team throughout the year. They've always won the possession battle. They may have won it with our turnovers. We haven't checked yet, but we at least kept it close enough where we could make plays and outscore them in the end, and that's what happened.
Coach, consecutive Final Fours for the first time since 2009. Obviously, the job's not done yet, but I guess how proud are you of this senior class and this team as a whole for kind of restoring that expectation for Syracuse lacrosse?
Well, I just think we're relevant again. It took a couple years, from putting together a coaching staff and taking over the program 5 years ago. Obviously, you knew where we were at year 1, 4, and 10. It was tough. And then from there, we've been in the mix ever since. So I'm super proud of all these guys and the coaching staff. They were incredible today and all year and the last 4 years to get us where we're at. It works not just on the field, but the recruiting and everything else, and bringing in the right guys that fit the style. And here we are, back-to-back Final Fours with a chance to play in the semis to try and reach the final and compete for the championship.
Gary, something about Syracuse and North Carolina playing on slick fields. How did you prepare for that? Did you have to change shoes?
Unfortunately, if we had more time or were playing the first game, we could have tested some more shoes. But playing the second game, we had an hour on the field yesterday, and that field is very slippery, and I think it changes the way you play lacrosse because you can't dodge or cut as hard as you normally would because it's very slippery. I talked to Coach Tierney yesterday about it, and he said, yeah, it's a field meant for safety. So soccer turf your foot doesn't stick in the turf, so you don't twist your knee and tear an ACL. But there's not many fields that are meant to be slippery, but that one's supposed to be slippery, and it is. And if we ever come back here again, we'll do some homework and try and find some cleats or turfs or something that gives a little more traction. But the good thing is everybody got out of that game healthy and maybe because of the turf, who knows.
Coach, clock's ticking down on the sidelines. What are the emotions like when it hits 0?
Oh, it's just a nice win. We got work to do. We've been here before, so it was great. It was take a deep breath, relax, the clock winds down, but start thinking about what we got to do to get ready for next week. And another team that unfortunately took it to us in the regular season in South Bend, and we get the opportunity to play them again. And I'm pretty sure these guys are pretty excited. We got 2 ACC teams that have punched their ticket, and we got a chance for another one tomorrow. And I think the ACC is just showing that we're a dominant conference, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Last one.
Billy, can you just talk about Jimmy McCool's performance today in the cage, that kind of relationship? He's just solid down the stretch and was everything you guys needed today.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's awesome. You know, obviously he's unbelievable goaltender, even better friend, teammate, everything like that. So, you know, he's been leaning on us over the past couple weeks, and we definitely leaned on him last weekend and today. So, he's another guy who, you know, you always know you're going to get his best out of him, and he's going to compete, and he did that today and wouldn't want to, you know, play in front of anybody else.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.